Hello everyone, this is Eri, and today I'll be taking a look at Aquaria, which is an indie game which I believe was actually among some of the first indie games published on Steam. So it's a little bit old by this point. Now, I have actually played this game before, but I don't remember getting past the first area. So today I'll be trying to give a proper look and give my full first impressions. Now, I don't really remember much about this game, aside from it being called a Metroidvania, which is really an open world exploration game of sorts. It was also made by two people in a kind of business partnership. So if you look for the name of this developer, you won't see them come up again. One of the individuals, though, did make Spelunky, another indie game, after a number of years. In any case, let's take a look at the options here. So there isn't really much to speak of graphics-wise, because this is a 2D game. Yeah, you can also see subtitles and key configuration, as well as a few quality of life things such as auto-aim. By default, the game actually started at this resolution, although I'm only just running it like this, just for demonstration. When you run the game for the first time, actually, an alternate configuration window comes up, which is pretty nice, and I'm just going to show that right now. Now, this little window here actually comes up when you run the game for the first time, and you can also access it just by going straight into the game folder, because it's just a separate program. This is pretty cool because it prevents any issues with resolution changing and your windows moving around as a result. The default settings are fairly low though. It's 800 by 600 and in full screen. So I guess this is kind of a lazy alternative to just trying to detect your settings, but yeah. So let's set a high resolution properly, and let's try enabling the gamepad and see what happens. Now, as you can see here, the game is still letterboxed in certain areas. You saw in that opening movie. But they did have a nice fade out effect along the edges. So it's nice that there is widescreen support, but that is an indicator that this game was made in a time where 4:3 ratio screens were still a thing. Another notable thing about this game was the music. I think that was something that was very popular about it, but it's surprisingly loud. I'm just going to turn that down a little. Okay, that's enough of the options. Let's begin.
The verse flows throughout Aquaria, through each ripple and wave, through every living being. Eventually, loneliness and restlessness drove me away.
So as you can see, you can swim quite freely in all 2 dimensions. By default, the controls seem to be mouse-based, so it's a left click to move. Now, this game was advertised as something called a Metroidvania, and that is essentially a type of game where you can explore freely around a 2-dimensional world. This is kind of unique though, in that this is set underwater, so you can already fly freely in all 2 dimensions. Okay, so this is the main game mechanic, I think, but I have not really sure what it is. There wasn't really much to speak of in these first few minutes. It's just a simple area to look around. It is quite beautiful though. I mean, even though there isn't much to do, everything here is full of hand-drawn graphics, which is very nice. I'm not really seeing any upscaling artifacts either. Even though the game was set to run at a low resolution by default. That's pretty cool, but I think that's because this is actually a tile-based game. So you can see here the walls are all quite repetitive, in fact. Okay, I see now. If I use left click to move around, I'll start with a dash, but I can use WASD as well. This is a nice rainbow color, but I wonder how well this would really work for people with color blindness. It's very blue and very pastel colors. Of course, it's nice that there are different symbols as well associated with each. Oh, by the way, when I was standing there still, the camera zoomed in automatically. Oh dear. I think this tutorial section is a little too long now, actually. There are a lot of passages. Still, I think this is really great in its ambience. So I'm not really bothered by that yet. Okay. So this is sort of like Ocarina of Time then, where I need to memorize songs. And it showed me a song to sing, but now I can't remember what it is. Oh, and yes, that's a menu. A little button there. This is kind of redundant. It just says click these items to switch between menus. Yeah. If the menu was designed a little more intuitively, this really wouldn't be necessary. Maybe with these at the bottom or something like that. Food recipes. Hot soup. Why would I need hot soup in an underwater world? How do I make soup, I lived underwater? And now something actually happens. Oh, this is weird. I'm playing something else now. Am I supposed to die? Yes. This is some kind of cutscene. A vision of the future, I suppose. That's a compelling plot hook. Okay, so here is where the good music comes in. Yeah, this is probably the song that kind of drew my attention to Aquaria. Okay, so now that I'm out of the tutorial area, let's try getting a gamepad and seeing how things work. Okay, so these controls are fairly rudimentary, and I'm not using all the buttons on controller. So instead of using my right stick for something like this, I'm actually still using my movement, my left stick. Okay, I think I'm out of the tutorial area now. And it's time to start exploring. This is pretty cool. I'm holding down WASD as well, but I can override it with left click whenever I want. I'm still not sure how to attack creatures or anything like that, but I'm sure I'll figure that out eventually. So yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm actually capable of yet, aside from roaming around and exploring. I only have a defensive spell, and that's it. These areas appear quite beautiful, but I think they're too large. I guess there needs to be a reason to justify moving around quite freely in 2 dimensions, since this allows you to have a very large range of movement already. But moving from place to place does seem to take a while, and the passages are just too long. Lots of stuff to look at here. Everything is, again, pretty big. It takes a while to just get anywhere, and the ocean here is quite beautiful, but there isn't really any exciting action yet. There was a very big plot hook though, so hopefully I'll find something. So all I got was a hint of my character becoming something evil. There's no indication of plot or anything like that, because apparently she has amnesia, so I'm not actually sure what to do right now aside from looking for areas I haven't explored yet. So these white circles on the map. Let's see. And these areas are quite large, so it's going to take a while for me to get there. And the mini-map is kind of clear enough. I mean, it's not using lines or drawn maps or anything like that, but more like a heat map to see the passages. Which is a pretty cool effect, I think. Items are kind of far and few between, I think. I'm not really sure what the point of these items are yet, either. Okay, so I can cook food and get status effects, I think. Oh, did I just throw away a healing item? This game is really trying hard to have a thematic interface with everything, but it doesn't really make the whole thing very intuitive either. I need to drag it to this statue in the middle to consume items. Ah, I think this is a puzzle. These symbols are similar to the notes here. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh right, the camera's zooming in because I'm not moving. I thought it was a cutscene. Okay, that's a little confusing. I keep thinking something is about to happen. Okay, was that a puzzle? Okay. I'm not okay. I'm not actually sure what I'm doing wrong now. Okay, I have no idea. Okay, that looks like an item I can pick up. It's kind of animated. It might just be there for flavor though. Oh, this looks dangerous. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to get through here. It's blocking something. But I'm not really sure how to do anything yet. I don't have any skills. If I spin around quickly, I can do some kind of whirlpool effect. Or shockwave, but is that supposed to be an attack? I'm not sure. Okay, I can't figure out what to do here, so I think I'm just gonna try going somewhere else. Yeah, I think it'd be more useful if you told me what tab it was, rather than just the fact that I can switch tabs. Unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be a world map. It really is just some kind of sonar heat map, so I'm gonna have to try to remember everything. I'm pretty sure that's an item I'm supposed to use as a key that I saw up there, but I'm not sure how to pick it up. So all I really have is movement and a shield spell. There's nothing to help me solve puzzles or any indication on... Like, I'm seeing these puzzles, and I think I know what the solution is, but aside from that, I'm not really sure what else is there. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to find a new song, but I'm not really sure where. I mean, it's the main game mechanic, but where do I go to get it? Like, the area I'm limited to exploring is pretty much this place and that place where I could learn songs, I think. But I didn't learn anything there. Let's check the controls again. World map. Q. Wow, this map is very large, and there isn't really much to look at. I really don't know where I'm going now. Like, I really don't. Backtracking is really going to feel like a pain as well. I mean, sure, there's a huge ambience here. It looks beautiful, it sounds beautiful, but well, I'm already lost, so I'm kind of wandering around, and this is taking a while to figure out. Yeah, okay, this is rather embarrassing, but I don't actually know how to progress in this game now. Okay, I really don't want to do this, but I think I'm just gonna check a walkthrough, because I've been wandering around for about 20 minutes now, I think. And unfortunately, I can't really Alt-Tab out of this. It looks like it's capturing my mouse, so if I want to actually try to Alt-Tab and switch to my browser or something like that, I need to kind of avoid this window. Okay, so I quite embarrassingly had to check a walkthrough to solve this basic puzzle, but after doing that I actually ran into another big problem, and it's that Alt-Tabbing is really not good for this game. It keeps capturing my mouse again, even though it's in the background, and I also couldn't go back into the game. Because, well, I'm not really sure what, but it didn't really work. So I had to force close it and reload this. Okay, so it seems that the puzzle was in fact fairly simple. I just needed to play that song here, and through memory. So let's just try playing that here. Here we go. Yeah, taking that long to solve a puzzle is pretty embarrassing for me. I expected to learn that song straight away, but apparently it was just a password. So that means these are not just associated with abilities. I can sing to solve passwords as well as a kind of communication thing. Sort of like talking to dolphins or something like that. Now that I think about it, this is a little bit like Echo the Dolphin, isn't it?
Through the waters with ease.
Yes, it is 3 notes. And unfortunately, I think they were just listed from left to right rather than some kind of association with direction. So I actually do have to remember the colors. This would be far more interesting if the song was shown as a gesture rather than as notes. There we go. Now I can pick up items. There's a lot of voice acting in this game, it seems, and from looking at the files, I'm rather surprised at the small file size then. It's compressed quite well. It's only about 200 megabytes, and a large chunk of that would be taken up by audio. Okay, so that's close to an hour. I've solved exactly 1 puzzle, which I needed a walkthrough for, which is, yeah, that doesn't really speak well for this game, or for myself. And now I can finally move forward. I think. I can finally move forward. Because that opens a door. please. Okay. What now? Okay, let's just try going somewhere else. This seems sufficiently Metroidy. And yes, I'm not actually in danger. Okay, I probably shouldn't have said that, because now it's shooting stuff at me.
Where blood had flowed through me, being of pure energy.
Oh, right, I keep forgetting that when the camera zooms in, it's because I'm not moving. It's not because there's a cutscene or something like that. Okay. So I've apparently gained some dark powers. And now I can do evil stuff and attack people. Or attack sea creatures, anyway. Okay, tap left and right. Okay. I need to press left and right. I would have preferred just another button for that, actually, but I guess this is really trying to make it all about mouse gestures. This is a little tedious as well. It's like shooting missiles at a door thing. I need to actually shoot them several times to open it. I think Metroid got rid of that. So in Metroid you had to shoot 5 missiles originally to open a door. But now, well, in modern games it's usually just 1 to make it less tedious. Yeah, this is kind of annoying since this blends in with the background and it's quite dark, so you don't think it's an obstacle, but it is. So there we go. There it is. I need to go in quite a bit of a loop to find that. Okay, this is really taking a while. Do I really need to backtrack all that way? I really don't want to. Yeah, I wish I could just hold the dash button and constantly move faster, because this really is feeling quite tedious. I've said it many times already, actually. I'm pretty sure that's not the right direction. I really hope I'm out of this dungeon now. Okay, now that's a big boss. Okay, I've been playing this for way too long now. So let's try to review this. Okay, so from memory, it has a reputation of having really good music, and I can hear that, although I had to turn it down a little bit. I mean, the graphics are all nice and quite timeless, and I suppose it looks nice, but everything is really large. It takes a while to just get anywhere. There aren't really a lot of movement options. This dash is really tiny compared to the scale of this world. The controls themselves are really simple. You really only need your mouse, and left click, right click, middle click if you want to look around, but I haven't actually used that. But if you want to play on gamepad, the controls are also equally rudimentary. You don't need any buttons, and they don't really take advantage of everything. This game is really trying to emphasize mouse gestures, but it also doesn't really teach you mouse gestures fully either. So you have to do a mouse gesture with this, but the game didn't actually teach you it in the form of a mouse gesture, just as these symbols. I also got lost pretty regularly, and it took a long time for me to solve just a puzzle. It might be because I just wasn't really good at solving that puzzle, or I couldn't figure it out. And I'm starting to gain more abilities, but it all seems very reliant on this song system, which means I need to remember all of these songs. It's been done once in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and it can't really be done again because it was very tedious, and there's a limit to how many songs you can learn. Of course, this isn't a Nintendo game, it's an indie game. The graphics are really nice, but the interface really tries to get into it a bit too much, to the point where the interface is actually kind of unintuitive. There are these pop-ups with really basic instructions, and they're really not needed if the interface was laid out a bit better. So unfortunately, I'm not really looking forward to playing this game fully, and probably won't go back to it. And yeah, this camera is also kind of annoying because I keep thinking it's a cutscene. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this has been interesting, and yeah, until next time.